Okay. Hey, nerds and nerdettes, it's Rick here, and today I've got a very special guest, a first for this channel. Take it away, bud. Introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Pierre from Mezco Toyz. Rick, first of all, it's awesome to talk to you in person instead of typing out our communications as we usually do.
It's awesome, man. I love it. That's awesome. All right, so you know the drill, man. Ask subscribers and followers for some questions. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go to it. Okay. Oh, getting comfortable. All right. Now I got some hard-hitting stuff here.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Any details on the Batman v Superman Batmobile?
Yes, not many.
Okay.
The Batmobile is in Hong Kong right now, so development is processing. But a vehicle on that, anything on that scale we hadn't done previously. So we were learning a bunch of things that we hadn't known before. It created a bunch of roadblocks that we weren't anticipating. So it's happening. Well, it's still in development. Whether it happens or not is still kind of up in the air, but we're still proceeding as if it's going to happen.
Cool.
And we'll see what happens.
Good deal. Reeve Superman or Keaton Batman with a Burton Batmobile. Is it possible?
It's possible. I mean, we have access to all that stuff. We had actually started sort of early development on a Keaton Batman really early on in the 112 line. And then it turned into one of those things where, and I know I sound like a broken record because I say this often, but there are things that we need to release within a certain window, like the Harley Quinn Suicide Squad needs to come out, the Wonder Woman figure needs to come out.
Sure.
The Marvel stuff that we have upcoming is really time sensitive. Something like Keaton Batman or Reeve Superman or even Adam West Batman, they can come out in 5 years and they'll still be as classic as they were today or 5 years ago. So we kind of have the luxury of time. And I know that's not the answer that fans want to hear because they want that stuff now.
Sure.
But we only have so much bandwidth available at the office to work on projects. So we have to pick our poison.
Gotcha. Okay. Any video game characters in the works, specifically Agent 47 from Hitman, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Arkham?
Not right now. Mortal Kombat sort of dead in the water. We're not doing anything with that. I think we actually turned out of the license on that one, so I don't think we're going to do any more Mortal Kombat, unfortunately. And as for other video games, we haven't looked into anything. We could theoretically do DC-based games, I think. I think it's under our license, although I'm not 100% sure. But we haven't started development on anything.
Okay. No worries there. Is I always say this wrong, Franzetta Fantasy is still in the works?
Frazetta.
Okay.
Frank Frazetta. Well, Mez teased this one in an interview he did that we were going to be working on a Barbarian figure. So not Conan, because that's specifically one license,
right. But
Frazetta owns the license for the look of the Barbarian. And then there was some legal dispute with that, which kind of left us in limbo. So we're going to let them sort that out, and we'll circle back to it. But it's something we want to get to. We love the look of that specific character, and even other Frazetta characters like Death Dealer. So I'm game. It's just a matter of time.
Awesome. Okay. Will we see more variants for DC characters, specifically Deathstroke?
There is a Deathstroke variant, yes. It's I don't know if I should say this, but it's just a deco variant. It's not new parts. And Diamond is our partner for the most part. Diamond is our partner for exclusives on 112. They've been great to work with. And we have a bunch of variants for both Marvel and DC characters slotted with them throughout this year. So you guys have a lot to look forward to.
Awesome. Yay. All right. More. Now, none of these are my questions, by the way. I should add.
I don't believe a second of it, Rick. This is all you.
This is all me. All right. More horror, specifically Jason, Freddy, or Universal Monsters.
Universal Monsters for sure. We are. That's something we never really went away from. It's another one of those things where we have to just pick a spot in the calendar to fit that stuff in. The Universal Monsters for sure. Cool. More horror, absolutely. I can't confirm any characters, but we are working on a character right now, which I think we'll have probably at San Diego for display. But yeah, so more horror for sure. And we know, like, we've Mezco sort of built the brand on horror. We did Freddy and Jason. We did all that stuff back in the day. So yeah, it's something we'd love to get back to. I'm not saying that's one of the characters we're working on, but horror is absolutely something that we're working on.
Awesome. I did not realize there were this many questions. Good Lord. Since Mattel has relinquished the licenses, any chance at Masters of the Universe or Thundercats?
I'd love to do both of them. Thundercats is something we can actually do, I think. I think we still have the availability of that license as we showed with the re-released 14-inch figures, which we have coming this year. So Thundercats for sure is something we can do. He-Man or Masters is something I'd love to do. I would love to see, even if we just got to do He-Man, I'd love to do that.
Right.
But that's not something that we've gotten any traction on so far. We haven't, really spoken to them about it. They haven't reached out to us. So
Sure.
It's more on a nerd dream on my end.
All right. And of course, 80s properties. Is G.I. Joe still something that you would like to do?
It's what I dream about. It's like I'm going to hang on to this job until I get that done. I think that's like my dream project.
Fair enough. All right. Any more characters coming in the DCEU Suicide Squad other than Harley?
At this time, no, I don't believe so. If we see any more characters from that film, it'll be based on their appearance. If there's a sequel, or if those characters appear in another DC film like Batman.
Gotcha. And on that note, will you be continuing with the DCEU, i.e., Justice League?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think we had a great experience working on the BVS, the Batman vs. Superman figures. In terms of just public interest and the style of the figures, the end quality of them was something that we thought they just turned out great. So movie figures are absolutely something we're going to be continuing with, both with DC and with Marvel.
Awesome. And Marvel. Thor Ragnarok was just announced. When is the earliest that we will see the MCU kick off?
You'll see the figure at San Diego. As for release date, I'm not sure. Actually, you'll see figures, plural, at San Diego, but I'm not going to say which ones.
All right. Also in Marvel, any chance at Fox Marvel, like Deadpool?
I think that's available to us. I'm not positive, so I can't really answer that one. I don't know.
Okay. More Netflix Marvel characters like Punisher, Cage, or Jessica Jones to go with Daredevil.
I would love to. From my personal perspective, I would like to do characters that are in costume. Like Daredevil's cool because he actually wears a costume. Jessica Jones, I love the show, but it's just her in street clothes,
Sure.
which is not that interesting visually for me personally. I don't mean to offend anybody out there. Same with Luke Cage. Same thing with Luke Cage. Like, I love the show, but at the end of the day, it's just the guy in a sweatshirt. So I'm hoping that the Defenders TV show lands them in some sort of costumes. That would be cool, but we'll wait and see. But yes, more Netflix for sure.
All right, awesome. Any interest in fantasy like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones?
We have a couple of huge Game of Thrones fans in the office. I don't know if that's going to translate to us picking up the license in any capacity. It's not something we're working on at the moment. I can say that.
How is Star Trek doing, and are we going to be getting any next generation characters?
Star Trek is doing well and has been doing well. We just unveiled Dr. McCoy last week, or end of this past week at our pre-Toy Fair thing. Next Generation is a show that I love. It's not something that we started. It's something that we have talked about in-house, and it's just kind of a wait-and-see thing, I think.
Next year's an anniversary.
Yes, it is. Yeah. BBC America runs that show constantly, so I watch it all the time. I just started playing Voyager as well. I'm watching that too.
Okay, now we're getting into the hard-hitting stuff. Okay, is Wolverine a one-off, or will we see more X characters?
Oh, more X characters. You will see more X characters for sure. Okay. Yeah, we have access to the mutants in the Marvel U now. I think there's a handful of characters we can't do, and I don't remember who they are offhand, but I think there are maybe 3 or 4 of them that we can't do, but that leaves us literally hundreds of Marvel characters and mutants that we can do, and we will do more, absolutely. And there's not just one Wolverine either. there'll be variants of Wolverine, both through Mezco Direct and through Diamond.
Okay, and that leads me to this stuff. Speaking of, will you please, all caps, reduce the length of the biker shorts on Wolverine? I have gotten a lot of that.
You know, I was honestly, I was very surprised by that. I guess maybe I've been looking at it for so long that it didn't stick out to me.
See, people, he reads it. He sees it.
I don't know the answer to that. We don't have a problem with them. Obviously, we wouldn't have made them that way if we didn't like them. We always try to make these figures look like they might look or exist in the real world. And it's kind of weird to think about an outdoorsy wilderness guy, which is what Wolverine is,
right,
in like Speedos.
Sure.
So our thinking was, give him outdoorsy shorts, make them rugged, you know. So that's why those shorts exist the way they do. As for whether we'll change them, I don't think so. Although I guess it's possible. And I don't mean to discount what the fans want or what the fans are saying, but sometimes we have to draw a line for ourselves and decide what we kind of like.
Sure. And they're going to be variants, so they have other options.
Yes.
Okay. And also include an unmasked head with a cigar, please.
We can't do smoking, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
Marvel characters no longer smoke.
All right. Are the delays the result of growing pains, or are the factories finally hitting their strides, and will we have a more solid release schedule?
The delays are a result of a handful of things, a handful of factors. Actually, me being one of them. I should be on. Yeah. So it's related to a bunch of things, and we try to get the schedule under control as much as we can, and hopefully going forward we will have a better grasp on it. But until that actually happens, I can't say it's going to happen.
All right. When the line first started out, the costs were around $65, but now we're creeping up into the 80s. What is the cause for the price increase?
There are several. Toys never get cheaper to make. Plastic never gets cheaper. Licenses get more expensive.
Right.
And then there's also certain things like certain characters are just more expensive. And I guess we could modulate the price, like some companies do that, like Hot Toys. Right. But characters like the Ghostbusters are phenomenally more expensive than a character like Flash, just because of all the gear, and the suits have a bunch more stitching. Sure. We are hoping that by having the price at a certain level, that we're evening it out. So characters like Flash, who are less expensive, and characters like Ghostbusters, who are more expensive than that $80 mark, end up evening out at the end.
Right. All right. And can you work on the ankles to include a better rocker or pivot?
We have been, yes, we have been doing that, and we will continue to do that because we know what we want in our heads. Sure. And we keep trying to get there, and it keeps on happening. And believe me, we are as frustrated as you guys are. Every time a figure comes in and the ankles don't work the way we want them to, it's frustrating. So we'll get there, yes.
Got it. Can we start seeing pockets or cargo pockets on pants, especially those wearing military-type pants?
Sometimes. I think the best you can hope for really are like faux pockets. Because once you actually, at this scale, at 6 inch, if you actually create a pocket, think about what you're doing. You're creating 3 levels of fabric. So it's inside pocket, outside pants. And that just adds bulk, and it ends up looking crazy. So I think on the Ghostbusters figures, we did just stitch lines to indicate pockets, but not actual pockets. Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Can we expect you to be into Marvel and DC for the long haul?
I can't imagine not being into those guys for the long haul. I mean, there's no way we do like, a year's worth of Marvel and be like, I think we got them all. Right. We did it. Good job, guys.
Okay. Any movies outside of superheroes and horror? Action, comedy, Beetlejuice, The Mask, Braveheart, Gladiator, etc.
There are other movie properties we're working on, yes. I can't, until we actually officially reveal them, I can't divulge what they are. Sure. But there's some horror stuff we've been working on, some action. I don't think there's any new movies coming up that aren't hero-related that we're working on. Okay. But that might change going into Toy Fair, because a lot of things happen in Toy Fair, so we'll see.
How do you decide which characters receive unmasked heads? I was hoping for an unmasked Peter Parker or a Deadpool.
Um, we end up with all of these projects. We basically throw up as much stuff as we possibly can think of, and end up weeding that stuff out. So unmasked heads actually exist for both those characters.
Okay.
And just due to costing, because Deadpool already comes with so much stuff,
Right.
we ended up having to pull a couple of things. We developed more heads for him as well, and more gear, more weapons, and Peter Parker, unmasked head, a bunch of more Spider-Man gear, but just due to costing, we end up having to pull that stuff down, or else, we have to raise the price more, which we don't want to do.
Any chance of accessory packs later on?
It's not something we've talked about. I don't know if an accessory pack, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I don't want the idea of an accessory pack to cheapen the brand, if that makes sense. Like, there's something museum quality-ish about getting a book that has all this stuff in it, and there's something less than that about getting, just a blister carded thing with a bunch of heads and hands in it. I like the idea of it, but I don't know if it fits 112.
Rock on. All right. Rumors are Darkseid is a con exclusive. Is that true?
That is not true. No, we have a bunch of con exclusives lined up. Darkseid, I don't even think he's on the actual release schedule yet. So we're trying to figure out how he'll get released or through who he'll get released. I don't know if it'll be full retail or Mezco Direct or through Diamond. We're still figuring out odds and ends on that.
Can we expect extended Bat family, Robin, Nightwing, and other villains outside of the Joker?
Yes. I don't think it's any secret. I've said it many times before that Batman is easily Nez's favorite character. So we will be in the Batman universe and into all the corners of that universe for a long time. Robin, I don't know about. Mez is not a Robin fan. And the edict of the line is to have all these characters exist in the real world. So if you think about the idea of a guy like Batman with a little kid sidekick, that just throws it all out of whack.
That doesn't seem feasible to you?
It doesn't seem like a good idea for a guy who's trying to keep so many secrets to have a kid. And let me tell you,
there's labor laws.
Plus, kids can't keep secrets. Right. That kid would be spilled everywhere he went. So Nightwing, definitely a possibility. Villains, females, both on the female and male side are definitely a possibility. Some of them we're already working on. Short answer, yes.
And on that, more Dark Knight Returns, Superman, Armored Batman.
Yes, we actually had developed Superman almost completely, and then just a flood of licenses came in, and we sort of had to decide who was going to get released and when. So Superman is essentially done. I just don't know when he's going to get released, because we have Batman vs. Superman that came out last year. Our DC Superman is coming out. Justice League is coming up. So if we're going to pick a Superman, it's probably not going to be the Dark Knight Returns Superman yet. Gotcha. And as for Armored Batman, we just did Armored Batman for Batman vs. Superman. So we want to get to these guys. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Gotcha. Dark Knight Trilogy or DC TV, is it possible?
The Dark Knight Trilogy, the movies, you mean? The Bale?
Yeah.
We have access to all the films, so they're all possible. We could do George Clooney Batman, theoretically.
But don't. But
the nipples, man.
The nipple. Okay. I know you got a thing for nipples, mutant leader.
So movies are yes. TV, I'm not sure. I actually don't know enough to know if we have access to the license for TV or not. I'm just not sure. But in saying that, we're not working on anything at the moment.
No. Okay. Any chance of a modern Iron Man to match modern Cap?
Strangely, when we sculpted the Iron Man that we just unveiled this past week, I thought it was too modern looking. Uh-huh. I wanted to like super duper 60s classic. And then in seeing it painted and glued up this past week, it actually looks really classic and yet very modern.
Right.
But I will say that we have more Iron Man variants coming. But this is not the only Iron Man you're going to see.
Awesome. Any die cast for MCU Iron Man when you get there eventually?
I don't know. It seems silly not to have some die cast on, especially since we had some on the on the Armored Batman last year.
Right.
But we'll have to wait and see. The Iron Man, I don't know if it, we've said this before, but the Iron Man that we showed will actually have a light up function. His arc reactor will light up. And I think it would be cool at least to make that part metal, just the upper chest piece. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
All right. This is a big one for people. What is going on with Classic Punisher?
He's coming.
He's coming. Okay.
He's coming. Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I believe he's going to be a Mezco Direct exclusive.
Okay.
But he's 100% still on the way. I think we have right now the regular Punisher shipping, and then the Diamond fully loaded one is either on pre-order or shipping now. And we don't want to end up splitting those dollars. So we don't want to have three competing for your dollar at the same time.
And are we still getting the mask for the previews exclusive?
We had to drop the mask. I know a lot of people are upset about that too. We ended up dropping that just to, originally it was going to be a sculpted piece, and then it was going to be an actual fabric mask, and then it was back to a sculpted piece. And it just got to be such a pain trying to get it to work. And I won't go into the minutia of why, but it was a pain. So we ended up dropping it. But that Punisher through Diamond comes with so much stuff that hopefully that makes up for the lack of a mask.
All right, we're getting near there, my friend. Okay.
No problem.
I got an absurd amount of questions about this. Nightmare Batman.
Yes. Nightmare Batman is on hold, unfortunately, as of right now. He was essentially fully developed. All the tooling was done, but he wouldn't have come out until well enough after the film that I think we lost traction on that front.
Okay. So
if he ends up reappearing in some capacity, then of course we'll release him. But if he's a one-off just for that film, I don't know if it's going to happen. Okay. But that said, I don't know that anyone on our end was anticipating the desire for that character. So who knows? We'll see.
I mean, I'm talking. I literally got 20 questions about that.
I have heard a lot of people asking. I honestly was kind of surprised because he appears for like 5 minutes in the film.
Right.
But it's good to know that people want him so badly. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
There we go. All right. Will we see a Winter Soldier comic or movie?
I would love to. He was for comic. He was on my short list a few years ago, and we were developing just a Marvel sort of release schedule, or just like spitballing who would be up on our top 10. So I would say it's almost definite that you'll see either comic or movie based. Yes.
Excellent. All right. I think I know the answer to this based on Mez's desires. Indiana Jones.
We would love to. I mean, who doesn't want to work on that stuff? But all the Lucas stuff, really. Right. We're not yet. We would love to, and we'll have to see what happens.
So that also goes with Star Wars. Same
it does. I really wish I could just say yes, because that would make me happy and make all you guys happy. But unfortunately, at the moment, it's just a desire in all our heads.
Right. Okay, what prompts reimaginings or Mezcoized versions of some characters, but more faithful adaptations of others?
Some characters will lend themselves more to that idea. A character like Flash, you can't really play with that much. You can mess with his boots a little bit, right. But then other than that, you can't really mess with him because then it doesn't look like Flash. Right. Same thing with Shazam. There's only so much you can do to that character before you pull it away from who it is. But characters like Deathstroke, you can design your own armor from the bottom up and still have it look like Deathstroke, but our own Deathstroke. Right. Same thing with Batman. So it's really a character by character thing. Some characters just don't lend themselves to reimaginings. Spider-Man, another one that you can't really push and pull too far on him because he's got to be red and blue. He's got to have big eyes. He's got to there's only so much you can do with that.
Right. Okay. Is Wonder Woman still a prototype? I feel the proportions are off, especially the
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yes, Wonder Woman is still a prototype, and Harley is actually, the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn was our first female figure, so she is going through tooling right now, and we're learning a lot of stuff that we're fixing along the way about that buck body and about that tooling buck in general. So that will be applied to Wonder Woman.
Awesome. All right. The final question, it's hard. Again, I didn't ask these. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
You know, I think I asked this question on Facebook years ago. I'm going to go with, yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. I'm going to go with 100 duck-sized horses because my thinking is I can kick a lot of them and their mouths will be too small to do too much damage. That's my thing.
I feel like you've thought about this.
I have thought about this. I put serious thought into this. A duck would murder me. A horse-sized duck is a big, angry thing, quacking in the beak. That's a bad scene, man. Horses I can kick all day.
All right, man. I'm out of questions.
I'm out of answers, I guess.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much. You know I love what you're doing, man. Thanks for
Thank you,
taking the
man.
time.
Thank you. Anytime.
Any parting words for your fans?
Thank you, really, is the parting word. Thank you for making what we're doing on our end so gratifying for us. Thank you for appreciating it so much. Thank you for complaining, honestly, because the complaints show that you care. And we prefer to have you complain because that shows you care instead of just not caring at all and ignoring them. So we want the best product for you guys. We want to be making the best product, and we wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you.
Rock on. All right, man. And as always, my friends and nerds, if you like what you see here, please subscribe, Pierre. Thank you. I really appreciate it, bub.
Anytime, dude.
Awesome.
Take care.
You too, bub.
All right.
See ya. Enjoy your Saturday.
Thanks, man. Take care.